Hey, what's up? What's up, YouTube? This is your boy, the author, back up at that ass, back at that ass again. Here's another one. Just wanted to go ahead and make this short video, man, about a topic I've been thinking about, and that's about black women, man. Black women need to stop lying, man, and making it seem like uh, you'll see them on these shows like the NBC shows and the early morning shows and the late night talk shows, and sit there and talk about they don't want to get married because they'll say they'll have a topic like say sometimes prime time I have a topic and the topic will be about well why are so many black women single, and they'll sit there and say because we won't settle. We can't find anyone to mate with, as if the black man ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Or we can't find none. We're not gonna settle for anything less. We're getting our degrees. We're starting major businesses. We're doing all these great things, and we just don't want to settle. So we'll just wait and all this other bullshit. And I just think that they should just stop it, man. Just stop it. Stop lying to yourself. Just stop lying to the public. They've been doing these shows for years, man, especially on and off since the 90s. Growing up, I remember seeing, why are so many black women single? And, that's just the media trying to antagonize an already explosive situation. But, they need to just cut it out, man, because most of these black women who are single because no one wants to marry them. It's not that they're waiting. Because first and foremost, the biggest lie is the achievement gap. Because if you listen to all the hype from the race, not really in the people who speak for the race are mostly women, black women. You'll be led to believe that black women lead the world in education and all of them are getting their degrees and all this nonsense, man. And that's why certain videos are starting to come out to show that that's not true. But first and foremost, most blacks in the U.S. do not have a degree. Let's clarify that. Most blacks do not have a degree. And that's in every race. Only 33% of whites have a bachelor's or up, who are 25 years of age or older. And that's most whites, most Caucasians. I quote unquote on Caucasians. Most blacks in this country, only about 19.2% have degrees. So clearly, more blacks in this country don't have a 4-year degree, who are at least 25 years of age or older, compared to those who do. So that the case where black women, it's clear that most black women don't have a degree, and in terms of the race, the percentage of the race. In addition, they always talk about black women are outdoing black men when it comes to getting the bachelor's degrees and all that kind of crap. Well, from the statistics, it shows that it's nearly split in half, man. It's almost 50-50. I think the worst statistic I've seen where it had black women at 58% for bachelor degrees, and then the rest were black men, obviously. So it's not like, and that's out of that 19% who do have a degree. But if you watch all these shows, you'll think that shit. Out of the 19% of blacks who do have a bachelor's and who are at least a bachelor's or up, and who are 25 years of age or up, you think that about 90% of that 19% were black women, and that's bullshit. And you also think that more black women in the race have degrees than not, and that's bullshit. I mean, because if you look at the 19% of the blacks who do have a degree, say 10% are black women, and that still leaves 90% of black women in the race who don't have degrees. And a lot of them who do have degrees, a lot of them are getting these degrees from these unaccredited universities, these tech schools and all that other nonsense. Those degrees don't really mean shit. They're not getting degrees from University at Albany or Penn State or Harvard or you know, I'm not saying you have to go to Harvard, but they're not getting their degrees. A lot of them aren't getting their degrees from, you know, NYU or someplace like that. You know what I'm saying? Florida State and North Carolina State. You know, some are, but a lot of them are counting, you know, the ITT and all this stuff like that, man. Because these same schools who admitted to being tech schools in the 80s, but tried to raise their admissions by saying they were colleges, that they are colleges, and a lot of them are. And they come in because you know it's bullshit. You tell me I can get a 4-year bachelor. It'll take me 9 months now to get a bachelor's degree, which usually, you know, takes between 4 to 6 years. Come on, man, stop playing. All right, so you know that's the situation, bro. And you know, fam out there, and here's the thing, man. You talking like you too good, and that's the situation. The way they talk is like you're too good for your man, but you're not good enough for the rest of the races. Because they had this one talk show where they had these 5 black women on the panel, and they were talking like, you know, they're too good for their men. But the one girl who said she was talking to this white dude at the bar, and she was hoping he asked for her number, and of course he didn't. So I mean that's a bad place to be in, man, where you're too good for your people, but you're not good enough, or you think you're too good, but you're not good enough for the other races. And why would the other races put up with you, man? I mean, usually you end up, man, or, you know, for the most part, every guy marries within his race for the most part. You know, mostly black men are willing to step outside of that parameter for obvious reasons. Um, but the most of the men, like the few percentage, the low percentage of white guys who do step out and marry other races, if they don't take a white woman who is pretty much their next pick, it's an Asian woman. You know why? Because Asian women, they can, you know, they're gonna get someone who's agreeable. You know, someone who, I mean, if you're used to being a man in power, like I think most white men are used to having things their way, you're not gonna be in a relationship where, you know, you are being dominated by someone coming from a race that, you know, your race finds subordinate, and she's coming with no connections. She's, you know, and a lot of them are coming from, like I said, you know, matriarchal family units where most of the races of men on the planet come from patriarchal communities, which is the household led by the men. Except for like the black community where it's, you know, mostly matriarchal. Not saying it's not a rise in matriarchy all over the board in the West, i.e. the U.S., but that patriarchy is dominating in the quote unquote African American or black household. You know, because I mean, you know, a lot of black women were taught that patriarchy is the enemy. You know, so they can run wild and stuff and shit like that. But yeah, my thing is they need to just stop it, man, because you know these other races aren't gonna marry you. There's a lot of females in my family, man, that they're in their 60s and they still have never been married. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna happen to most of these black women out here. Cause I mean, it's easy for a man to get married. Marriage means a lot more to women than it does to men. I know 2 females. I mean, I've been with many females, but I mean, I know 2 for sure, for certain, I could have married just like that. You know, but I mean, like I said, the marriage is more of a woman's thing in general. That's all across the races. You know, because the men is more, you know, I believe it's more females than men. So you know, we rather just kick it, so to speak, and date. In the courts, and even if if you get married, you run the risk of getting divorced, and the courts are going to favor the women. But and just to talk about my own quote unquote race, the so-called African American race, man, I just think it's disgusting, man. Because like I said, I go out to these stores, especially Walmart, you know, where they hire a large number of black women when their brothers out here who need jobs. They hire a large number of black women who are disrespectful. I met one today. I'm walking through the store. I'm trying to get a printer cartridge for my printer, you know, and you got to beg. One of them, it was just 2 of them back. There were only 2 back there, two black females, and you have to beg them to help you. I asked one, well, I don't work in this department. I mean, you don't really see that from any other race. And I mean, some of these women are older women, like they're in their 60s, 50s, 60s, you know, 40s, 50s, 60s. I mean, these aren't. So you imagine with the teens and the 20-year-old with early 30s, you can imagine how they gonna act. I mean, these women in their older 40s, she could have been in her 50s. The one I ran into today. I don't work in this department. You should tell her. And then the other one who came over there, looked at me like I spilled some milk on her floor. It's like, well, this is your job, man, to help people. You acting like I just came up and randomly asked you for money. I mean, I'm asking for assistance, and you work in the store. It's your job to assist. You work in Walmart, so you should be, you don't got shit else to do but to help people. You know what I mean? Wasn't even anybody back there, but it's that same lackadaisical attitude, especially when it comes to another black man. I mean, if I was white, I can't help but think that they would have been more quick to, zip and do what they had to do. I mean, to a certain point. Plus, they know white men are tell on their ass, so that's an incentive as well. It's much easier for him to get her fired than me. But you just expect them to do it. But I mean, and it's just like going out to the post office and even to these other places to see how disrespectful on average that a lot of black women are. I mean, I'm not surprised that a lot of them are not married. Even some of the older ones. Because my grandmother was married until she passed away in '95. She was married to my grandfather for 40 years. And her generation, in my opinion, was one of the last generations of women who were good enough to marry. But a lot of the ones who came after her, I mean, the next generation, my mother's generation, out to me, those are the ones who the ball was just dropped. That generation in my family, a lot of those women are married. In my grandmother's generation, it was expected. A lot of them are married and kept long marriages, but the ones that came after them, they weren't married. The ones today, I mean, they can't even get a guy to stay with them past the stroking. By the time he busts his nut, he ready to throw his drawers on and head out the door. So that's what it is, man. So as far as being these black women making it seem like on these prime time shows that they're too good for black men and they need to go over to the other side of the fence. These other men ain't gonna marry you, man. It's just like this girl I was with back in the day, and her sister. She had a twin sister, and the twin sister was dating this Spanish guy. And the way they looked at it, they were making about $50 a year. They were college educated black women. Still had the bad attitude, right? So not as bad as the ghetto ones, but still not a little too aggressive. So she dated this Spanish dude, man, and she was hoping that dude made about $90,000 a year, and she was hoping to have a relationship with it. And I think he stroked it a few times, bounced and left her, and she was on the phone crying and all upset, and it's like, man, and I tried to give her the prep talk, but it's like that aggressiveness. The only man that's gonna marry a lot of y'all is gonna be us by default, because these other men are their mothers in most cases, with the exception of a few. In most cases, you're gonna marry someone who's similar to your mother. And these guys, these Hispanic guys, and these guys from other races, their mothers aren't as aggressive as the black female. So, and plus, how they talk about us behind their back. I mean, some of them, some races, I'm pretty sure have comments about, quote unquote African American race. We got comments about them too, but I'm just saying the way the world looks at us in general, so-called African Americans, is, nothing but mouth. He's not used to taking that from a black woman. A lot of these other races, man, you see these Puerto Ricans and videos, and they play around with their mother and joke around with their mother, and I've seen some even slap their mom on the butt, and the mom, you can tell the mom plays back with them, but you can tell that being a man and a Mexican race or a Puerto Rican race means a lot more than being a man in the black race. And that happened by design. But how you an average, Mexican or Puerto Rican gonna sit there and be cursed out by the average black woman? I mean, it ain't gonna happen, man. He ain't gonna be able to take that shit. That's why that Spanish dude, he might tap that ass, but as far as him stand and bring you around, mom, because here's the problem for a lot of black females too. They want to get married, but you fuck up before the dude could even get reeled in. At least for some white females, the ones that's taking advantage of these athletes, quote unquote, but take advantage like the same thing couldn't have happened with a black woman. But the smart women, they can hold their temper for long enough where they can, like, so for example, throw the fish hook out and reel you in, and then once you get married to them, they flip. But a lot of these black females, man, they flipping before you even you showing your ass before you even throw the hook out. So of course, when you reel it in, ain't nothing gonna be on your hook, cause your bait is fucked up. Fishes can see around that shit. Like, wait a minute, this some fucked up bait. So you can't reel nobody in with mouth before we even get started. You gotta at least make me believe that this is gonna halfway work. You gotta act like you cool, at least a little bit. You can't show your ass already. But I just want to share that, man, because it's just like a lot of people are talking too about the gender war, especially between an African American community and an African, quote unquote, African American community. Men don't really understand. Men from other races don't understand it. And so why are you guys complaining? And this happened. This was a long time coming, man. This has been brewing for quite some time. And in addition, the first attack was made by the women. And it's been a gender war between almost in every race, but ours, I think, has been the most traumatic because it's when you're the lowest on the totem pole, you can't really you don't really have time for that. So it's going to hurt even more because you're already a lot of members of the black race are already dealing with self-esteem issues. On a lighter. On a lighter level, mental health issues, self-esteem issues, self-confidence issues, and the women even more so. Like, you got the average black woman I see on the Facebook always talking about someone's hairline. Oh, your hairline go all the way back? Well, your hairline. And if I snatch that weave off, most of y'all look like Kojak with thin eyebrows. You look like come on, man. You look like Rennis, you like Stimpy. Come on, man. They're the first ones to talk about somebody's hairline, but about 95% of black women either have a weave. About 95% of black women either wear a weave, a wig, or they all have to faithfully use a straightening comb. They either wear a weave, so some other woman's hair on their head, or a wig, where it's just someone else. It ain't even mixed with their own hair. It just puts like a hat. Or a straightening comb, where the straightening comb so hot it goddamn almost burn your own skin just so you can straighten your hair so you can look white. I was with this one girl, college educated chick, man, got that hot comb, and I can't help but to think the reason why sometimes their hair isn't as long is because you're using that lye and the weaves and messing up your edges, and that the straightening comb too. Cause she got them straightening combs be so hot, the hot combs, and she burned her shoulder, man. Not really bad, but the skin welled up a little bit. And it's like you going through all that just so you can have straight hair. And they'll complain and lie and say, "Whoa, you can't get a job if you don't have straight." And you see everybody working. You see a lot of people with braids and everything, But that's what they want to do, but they can't. They won't admit it. Can't admit it to themselves. But you want to be another race of woman, clearly. Anybody who will go through all that, mixing some other woman's hair in with theirs, or covering their hair up completely with another woman's hair, or having a scalding hot comb to start to straighten out your, have you ever thought maybe your hair isn't supposed to be straight? I mean, but I digress, man. But it's your boy the Off. I just wanted to drop that, man. Drop that on you. Be sure to like, to subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on this, man. What do you think about especially if you're like 40 and up, let me know what you think about, uh, the prime time shows, especially on ABC and NBC, and about how black women have outgrown black men, and they're much more educated. It's a lot more black females that have their bachelors than black males. And actually, it's a lot closer. You know, Asians are the only ones who really kicking ass in terms of getting BAs. But you would think that black women had out. They have more degrees than Asians. They have it's a higher percentage of them getting degrees than Asian women. There's all type of crazy shit. But yeah, make sure to like and subscribe, man, and let me know what you think. All right, until next time, be safe out there. All right.